This is Red, White, and Bluegrass.
It was a case that outraged the nation last fall when a man that killed a Woodford County 6-year-old was released early from prison despite the say of Kentucky's parole board. Now lawmakers in Frankfort are trying to make sure something like this never happens again. Garnering just over 60 co-sponsors since its filing last Friday, House Bill 422, aka Logan's Law, seeks to tighten the eligibility of the supervised release program that allowed Logan Tipton's killer, Ronald Exantis, to be released last fall, proposing to no longer consider those with violent felonies. The bill would also change how Kentucky prosecutes those who commit crimes when their mental state is not sound.
So Logan's Law does get rid of not guilty by reason of insanity. It does keep guilty but mentally ill. We are going to ensure that you are in prison for what you did. We are going to ensure that if mental illness is involved, you're getting the help that you need.
Despite broad support, there are some reservations over the proposal's current form. In a statement, the Kentucky Psychological Association tells RWB this bill goes too far by eliminating the insanity defense entirely. We hope to work with bill sponsors to make the bill a more focused and effective piece of legislation. Senator Webb, I'll start with you. This is a move largely being spearheaded right now in the House. What are you going to be looking at when it comes to the Senate?
Well, first of all, the family, what a tragedy the loss of Logan was. I have property in Woodford County and very familiar with that case and what a tragedy it was. This particular not guilty by reason of insanity does have some use in the law, and sometimes bad cases make, are highlighted like this, but it also has a use in science-based, data-driven reentry options in some cases. And if you're looking at more than that in this bill, you're looking at enhancement of sentencing, expansion, consecutive sentences. So that has a lot of costs involved, and our corrections budget now, that's got to be a factor in these decisions you make, along with what is science-based, data-driven evidence in how you deal with these offenders. So one has more guarantee of treatment than the other. This new, the other guilty but mentally ill, not much guarantee of treatment there. Some people can't be treated. Let's take that demographic out and set it apart. And some states actually have the option of both for conviction in sentencing, with the standards and the criteria that have different options for reentry and for treatment in correction facility.
Senator Thomas, this is a bill you're still learning about a little bit as well. What if you were sitting on a committee that this bill were to go to, what would be some questions you have?
First of all, Senator Webb is right. She and I both have children. And it's a horrible experience. I can't imagine losing a 6-year-old child. That's a devastating experience. So she's right about that. But let's start, Bodie, by the fact that when he was released, he didn't commit another murder. So we don't have a recidivist act here. He did report. He violated his parole. He's brought back. Clearly, this man's in need of treatment. And if we do, as this bill suggests, get rid of the insanity defense, then we get rid of treatment for individuals like him. And that's not a good step in incarceration. This whole idea, well, just, put him behind bars and throw away the key, is a very costly, we were just talking about costs earlier in this segment, a very costly process. And I don't think that's a good step for us to take as we decide what is the best course of action here.
You need to look at every component of the bill and see if it actually accomplishes or would prevent this scenario again. And sometimes it may, sometimes it may not. But the cost, I hear the most about corrections costs. I'm on the budget subcommittee, so it's an ongoing problem. And if we do things like this, we have to be willing to pay for it.
And that's why, we have a process. We have these committee hearings. I want to, look back a little bit to how we got here. Y'all have been around for a little while in the legislature. What can y'all recall about some of the decision-making that led to making that original supervised release law very quickly here?
Well, I've been on reentry committees nationally and still am. I practice that type of law for the last several decades. I'm not going to totally date myself, but it's science-based, data-driven reentry programs, because most people are going to get out of prison. So you want that prisoner, that individual, not just warehoused, but actually corrected through the system, to eliminate recidivism if you can. You're not always going to do that. Again, the system is not perfect, but that's the history of reentry, and and the treatment component as well. But some people are not going to be a good fit for that. Some people are going to fall for the crack, and sometimes you're going to have a not a successful story.
More you'd like to add to that, Senator?
Just quickly, Bodie, when you study criminal justice and you study criminology, what you find out is that one of the lowest recidivism crimes, I'm going to tell your viewers this, of all is murder. You know, theft is very high in recidivism rate. Sex offenses, a very high recidivism rate. Murder is one of the lowest of recidivism rates. Now that doesn't mean we shouldn't take murder seriously, but generally speaking, you don't see a lot of recidivism in murder cases.
All right. We'll have to